Are you looking to buy a home in 2021, but you're not entirely sure how much money you actually need? In this video, we're going to cover the closing costs of purchasing your first home in 2021. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Alex Zinowich here with eXp Realty, and we are back with another real estate video. And today I'm just going to walk you through some of the closing costs that are associated with purchasing a home. Now, it can seem really freaky and scary that, oh my god, there's so many hidden fees, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it so that way you don't have to be scared and overwhelmed whenever a random fee appears. Now, it's my duty as a real estate agent to make sure you're informed, educated, and prepared for when you're buying your first home. If your realtor doesn't inform you of various fees, you're gonna get slapped in the face with random bills and you're really gonna be upset. So I'm gonna prevent that. But before we jump into the video, you guys, follow me on social media at Dream Homes with Alex. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a couple thumbs up, and hit that little bell so that way you're never missing a video of mine. So let's get into the video. All right, you guys, so first, we just need to go over how much your closing costs are gonna be on average. So you're looking at around 2 to 4% of the sales price. All right, so when you buy your home, your closing costs are going to be around 2 to 4% of the price that you paid for the property. So let's say if it's a $400,000 property, you're looking at, $8,000 to $12,000. Now it could be more, it could be less depending on the purchase price. So the first cost is going to be your down payment. Now, saving up for the down payment is a pain in the butt. A lot of people are unable to do it. So how much do you need for a down payment? Well, in Canada, you need 5% minimum. Now, unfortunately, this isn't like the United States where you're gonna have, you can buy a home for 0% down or even 3% at times. Now, I can kind of see why Canada has a bit higher standards because we don't want another housing crisis, okay? We don't want everything to crack because people are getting loans for 0% on stuff they can't afford. So we have standards here in Canada, you guys. Good for us. So if your down payment is less than 20%, you have to get mortgage insurance, which is your next cost. Is number 2, mortgage default insurance. Now, this insurance is not to protect you, but rather to protect the banks in case you default on your mortgage. So how much this costs, it depends. So it's around 1.25 to 3.15% of the mortgage amount. So there's 2 ways you can play this, you guys. You can either prepay that premium up front. So let's say you have $11,000 in mortgage insurance. You can either pay that right now, or you can have that added on to your monthly payments. Now, you're probably thinking, holy shit, $11,000 added to my mortgage? So if you have a 25-year mortgage, $11,000 over that 25 years, it's pretty much not gonna screw up your monthly mortgage payments too much. So you're not gonna be house poor. It's okay, don't worry. Don't need to be scared about that, you guys. Now, number 3, you guys, is gonna be your legal fees. Now, you're probably thinking, Alex, a lawyer? What am I, Harvey Weinstein? I don't need a lawyer. Well, in this case, you do. So what the lawyer's role in the transaction is to make sure all the administrative stuff is good, that the title transfer is, not screwed up, making sure that the funds are transferred properly. So they're pretty much just taking care of the transaction to make sure everything is followed by the book and nothing is screwed up too royally. And you're looking at around $800 to $1,500. So keep in mind the legal fees. Now, lawyers do need to be compensated for their work, you guys, so don't sit there and huff and puff and go, I don't want to pay them. And number 4 is your home inspection. Now, while not mandatory, I would strongly urge you to get a home inspection when you're buying your home. Unless you're a developer or investor where you're just going to tear down the property anyways, then it doesn't matter. But in your case, get a home inspection. You're looking at around $400 to $600 on average for a home inspector. So if you're unfamiliar with what a home inspector does, watch your home buying video here. You'll know the process and what role the inspector plays and why it is so important. Number 5 is going to be adjustment costs. Now, while this isn't part of every single deal, you have to be aware of this. So you're looking at around $400 to $500. So keep that money aside just in case you do get adjustment costs. So what these are is, let's say the seller paid their property taxes for the year. They sell the home and you buy it 1 month later. So you have to reimburse the seller for 11 months of the property taxes, right? Because it doesn't make sense for them to pay the taxes, but then you live in the house and they don't, and they eat the cost. So it doesn't really make sense. So you have to reimburse them for those costs. Just like if they paid some utility payments, you got to reimburse them for that. So it all depends, right? Number 6 is going to be disbursement costs. So these are pretty much reimbursement costs to the lawyer for them incurring fees. So what this would be an example of is, let's say, they're sending out postage and stuff. Well, you got to reimburse them for that. You got to reimburse them for the land transfer to make sure that it's registered, the property's registered in your name. So that's going to be a couple $100 or so. So you got to just keep in mind that you got to pay the lawyer back for some of the stuff. Number 7, you guys, is going to be property insurance. Now, your lender is going to require you to get property insurance, because if the house burns down or shit gets stolen, well, it's not going to be pretty, you guys, if you don't have insurance. And if you don't get property insurance, well, your lender is probably not going to give you a mortgage. Number 8 is going to be a real property report. Now, for you as a buyer, you don't have to purchase this. This is going to be the seller providing it for you, potentially. So what the real property report is, it's a little sheet here with a little sketch of the property, right? It's a top-down view of the property that shows all the structures on it. It shows the property lines and everything. So if the real property report is current, and the house had, let's say, a deck built or a shed or some other structure, and it's on the property report and it's current, good. However, if the property report isn't current and there's some structures that don't show up on the property report but appear on the actual property, then that's not current. So, well, how this relates to you though is the seller will hopefully provide this to you, or what they could do is, as we'll discuss in a bit here, is they'll offer title insurance in lieu of a real property report. Because if they really don't want to pay the money to get one done, they'll just give you title insurance, and we'll go over that in a sec. So next is going to be number 9, which is going to be the title insurance. Now, what title insurance is it protects the lender from any defects on the title, okay? If there's any liens on the mortgage, back taxes, there's anything wrong with the title, the lender is going to be safe, okay? Now, sellers can offer this to you in lieu of the real property report, and this is on average $300 or so. And so pretty much you're not going to be paying for this. The seller most likely will at times. All right, so number 10 is going to be a property appraisal. Now, this is going to be around $300 to $500 or so. And what this is pretty much if the lender says, you know what, we don't think that property is worth the mortgage amount you're seeking. So they're going to ask you to hire an appraiser to pretty much do an appraisal of the property, just to make sure that, the price is fair. So what the appraiser is going to do is they're going to go and they're going to do whatever magic they do and find the market value or whatever they feel the property is worth. And that can give you some wiggle room. Like, you can get the price down lower than what you actually offered. So your lender may require it, and it's not mandatory. So just be aware if your lender says, you know what, bud, go get an appraisal done. They'll let you know. Now, number 11 is land transfer tax. So luckily, we do not have a land transfer tax in Alberta. So pretty much it's going to be covered in the disbursements there when the lawyer does the land transfer title, right? They'll make sure that the property is registered in your name. There's going to be a base fee of $50 plus $2 for every $5,000 of value of the property. So you'll know how much it is when your lawyer says, this is how much it's going to cost for this. Now, number 13, you guys, is going to be an estoppel certificate fee. Whenever you're buying a resale condominium, you have to ask for the estoppel certificate. Now, what this is, it's a little certificate signed by the condo corporation saying, okay, the previous owner has outstanding payments, there's interest owed on unpaid condo fees, and looks like you as a buyer, you're gonna have to pay those. So what you can do in that case, if there are such fees, is you can negotiate the price lower just to compensate you for those fees. So if there's like $20,000 worth of unpaid fees and stuff, well, you can negotiate a lower price just to compensate for that, because you should not be fronting the bill for that. So if the sellers won't budge on that, I would recommend just either finding another unit or just sucking it up. But it's a case-by-case basis. Number 14, you guys, is gonna be new home warranty. In Alberta, new home warranty is mandatory. There's a bunch of levels to it. I'll include a link in the description because I'm not covering every single tier. And you're looking at around $2,000 for new home warranty. So click the link in the description to learn more about that because it is way too lengthy for this video. Number 15 is going to be GST. So when you're buying a brand new home in Alberta, you need to pay 5% GST of the sales price. Now, sometimes this is included in a contract price, but you just got to take into account you have to pay 5% of the purchase price. Now, guess what? If the home is under $450,000, you may be eligible for a rebate. Who doesn't love money back when they're buying a home? And the last one here, you guys, is gonna be moving expense. Now, this is not a set in stone cost, right? It's gonna vary from person to person depending on how much you actually have to move. If you have a lot of shit to move and you have to move a long ways away, well, the moving costs are gonna be substantially higher than someone who's doesn't really have much stuff to move and isn't moving that far. So this varies from person to person. It's a case-by-case basis, so I'm not going to give you a figure here, so keep that in mind. But all in all, you guys, purchasing a home is very expensive, and you're looking at around 2 to 4% of the closing price. So that could be around $10,000, $12,000, $8,000. It all depends on the sale of the house that you buy. So, guys, we're gonna end the video here. If you've learned anything, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, follow me on social media, and comment in the section below what kind of videos you want to see. I am here to serve and educate you so you're able to make informed decisions when you're buying a home. I'm Alex Zinowich with eXp Realty, and I'll talk to you guys soon.